Tonight, Kitchener homicide investigation.
It's a little disturbing to know that there was a death in the area.
The call that brought detectives to an apartment, and
we do have a female in custody in relation to this incident.
What they're sharing so far about the investigation. Calling out crumbling classrooms.
It's something that absolutely could happen somewhere else.
The plea to the province.
This call to action is for the entire province, but right now, Waterloo is ground zero.
To fix schools.
This building is a clear example of what happens when governments fail to invest in the infrastructure our children rely on every single day.
That are getting failing grades. Putting together a picture of local history.
And I thought, well, make it into a puzzle.
One man's lasting tribute to a local treasure.
It's one of a kind. It means a lot to a lot of people.
And the memories it's helped create. Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with the homicide investigation in Kitchener. A man was found dead this morning in an apartment. A woman is under arrest, and people living nearby say they're shocked to learn what's been unfolding in their neighborhood. CTV's Heather Centerin joining us live at the scene. This is at Cameron and Weber Streets. Heather, police, I understand, still on the scene this hour?
Police expect to remain on scene for the rest of the day and possibly tomorrow in what they say started as a check well-being call and ended with police finding an adult man dead inside. Several police cruisers lining Cameron Street North in Kitchener and police tape covering a low-rise apartment.
With canvassing, interviewing witnesses, some forensic analysis to be taking place.
Police were called here around 9:30 Monday morning.
Upon arrival to the location, members of our police service entered a unit to the residence and located a deceased male inside suffering from significant injuries. Through investigation, we are now investigating this as a homicide.
The victim, a Kitchener man. Police not releasing any more information about him.
We do have a female in custody in relation to this incident. We believe that the deceased and this female were known to one another. I'm hoping to release some more information in relation to that. I can also say that we believe that this was a targeted incident and there's no threat to public safety.
Residents in the area left shaken.
It's a little disturbing to know that there was a death in the area. I'm pretty sure I've never heard of anything like that happening in our downtown area before.
No, it's definitely not common, that's for sure.
This couple lives nearby and say they knew something was wrong when they saw the heavy police presence.
And my other son, he knew someone who lived in there a few years ago, so it is a little concerning.
There are a lot of young families in the neighborhood.
Waterloo Regional Police have not yet released a cause of death nor word of any charges. Waterloo Regional Police say this is the first homicide of the year. It is still very early in the investigation, and they're asking anyone with information to contact them. Tony.
Okay, Heather Centerin live on scene at that homicide investigation. Heather, thank you for that. And a suspicious death in North Dumfries is also under investigation tonight. The victim in this case has been identified as 36-year-old Elizabeth Spurgeon of Cambridge. Her body was discovered early Friday morning in the West River Road and Brant Waterloo Road area. Investigators appealing for any information on her whereabouts in the days leading up to Friday morning. Anyone with information is urged to call Waterloo Regional Police or Crime Stoppers. And the OPP are trying to identify someone who was seriously injured after falling from the Trussler Road overpass over Highway 78 early this morning. Police say witnesses spotted the man lying on the ground just after 6 this morning. He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. He is described as a white man in his 40s with receding dark hair, and anyone who may be able to help police figure out who he is asked to reach out to the OPP. And some traffic trouble on the westbound 401 near the Highway 6 exits today after a collision involving 2 commercial vehicles. Police say one truck rolled into the westbound ditch, trapping the driver inside. He was pulled from the wreck and was taken to hospital with serious injuries. Okay, time for a first check on the weather. Heading outside to Alex Pinto now for our first look at the forecast. Outside tonight, Alex, I'm jealous because, boy, oh boy, this stretch we've had, this sunny, warm weather. I was just saying to someone a little while ago, I can't remember a stretch in mid-September this long with weather this beautiful.
I know. If you're a fan of summer-like weather, this has been good couple weeks for you. That sun's still shining, and yes, it's appropriate as we wrap up our final week of summer. Fall officially kicks off next week, and pretty nice conditions. Again, if you are that fan of the summer-like weather, we've got sunshine, warmer weather, and especially this week, we're going to really notice that warm-up. So when we take a look at our satellite and radar map here across Waterloo region right now, we're seeing mainly blue sky, maybe just a cloud or two out there, but beautiful, beautiful conditions. A really nice night for maybe a patio dinner. How about that? Current temperature-wise, many places right across southern and southwestern Ontario sitting in that mid-20-degree mark. Might feel maybe 1 or 2 degrees slightly warmer with that humidex, but we're not feeling any extreme heat or extreme humidity. It's actually quite comfortable with a little bit of a breeze. At least it is right outside of our studio here in Kitchener. So yes, good news if you're a fan of that summer weather and you've got another week to enjoy it. We're going to take a look at how warm it could get in your full forecast coming up a little bit later. Tony.
Okay, looking forward to that. Thank you, Alex. From Waterloo tonight, a plea to the province to put more money into fixing aging schools. Union leaders and politicians stood out in front of the fenced-off Elizabeth Ziegler School building in Waterloo to make their point. CTV's Krista Simpson explains.
The backdrop, a school abruptly shut down earlier this year amid structural concerns. The request, more money to repair and improve the places where children learn.
This building is a clear example of what happens when governments fail to invest in the infrastructure our children rely on every single day.
Most of the students who should be attending Elizabeth Ziegler Public School in Waterloo are now being bused daily to Sandown Public School.
There's definitely some kids who have openly said, like, this transition has been hard, and we should hear that.
Deborah Talk, parent of 2 Elizabeth Ziegler students, says this is a cautionary tale.
It's something that absolutely could happen somewhere else.
A report released last December by Ontario's Financial Accountability Office found more than 1/3 of the province's schools were not in a state of good repair. The estimated cost to change that, $6.5 billion.
Delaying these investments means to higher costs down the road and worsening conditions.
The union leaders and politicians speaking at Monday's press conference are calling for more than just structurally safe buildings.
Students are expected to learn in conditions that are less than ideal. They are sweltering in schools with no air conditioning. They are fighting for space in classrooms that are too small.
They also want better staffing. Union leaders say it was a custodian who initially noticed the crumbling facade at Elizabeth Ziegler, warning these workers are stretched thin.
We're looking to see that we can receive the funding that we need to be able to do the jobs that we love to do and to the standards that we want to meet.
This call to action is for the entire province, but right now, Waterloo is ground zero.
Elizabeth Ziegler Public School is expected to be shut down for 2.5 years at least.
The current plan is to have the school repaired and reopened so classes can resume here in September 2027.
Talk hopes the government hears the message to invest in things that may not seem flashy or exciting, but are important.
There's still just a lot of grieving in terms of what's been lost in this community with the school being closed. It's more than just a building. It's a student community, a parent community. And we're just hoping that someday everyone will be able to congregate here again as a community.
In a statement, Education Minister Paul Calandra's press secretary says, after decades of neglect from previous governments, we are investing more than any other government in Ontario's history when it comes to the repair, renewal and construction of new schools. Over the next 10 years, we're investing about $23 billion to support school construction, renewal and improvement. Krista Simpson, CTV News, Waterloo.
A strike by college support staff in Ontario is putting a squeeze on some parents of young children. They are now stuck trying to find alternative options for childcare because some centres staffed by college workers are temporarily closed. CTV's Sean Leathong reports.
A daycare in Parkdale sitting empty, their early childhood educators employed by George Brown College, now part of the province-wide strike by college support staff.
It's a real scramble like all the other families.
David Bush has a 2-year-old daughter. When college workers went to the picket lines, Bush and his partner had to rely on a family friend, then hired a private care worker at $25 an hour.
That was great, but an unsustainable model for us.
There are 14 daycares run by George Brown College that are closed in the city. David Bush has managed to find an alternative a little farther away with shorter hours, meaning he has to take time off work.
Anyone who has a toddler, it's that transition is tough. They don't understand why they're not going to their regular daycare. They don't know anyone there. They're not familiar. They love their daycare.
We contacted OPSU to ask about the decision to allow daycares to close. They sent a statement which reads in part, "We encourage concerned parents to contact their college and urge their employer back to the table to settle a fair agreement that will protect jobs and services like daycares that our communities rely on. We also extend our gratitude to all the parents using childcare services operated by our members who stand in solidarity with us during strike action, understanding that this fight is shared and will impact the future of those services for generations to come."
We support our workers for sure, and we support the college having a properly funded college system.
But as there appear to be no negotiations happening, the question is for how long? Sean Leathong, CTV News.
A major construction union is walking away from the Ontario Federation of Labour, saying it wants no part in what it is calling an attack on the Ford government. The Labour strife, precipitated by a story that CTV News first brought you last week, is all over a government fund that doles out billions of dollars. CTV's John Woodward has more.
Give it up for Doug! Earlier this year, Premier Doug Ford got a hero's welcome by private sector union LiUNA.
No other government in my 47 years at LiUNA has introduced a program like this, like the Ford government has in the province of Ontario.
LiUNA's Canadian director was talking about the Skills Development Fund, or SDF. $26 million had been earmarked months before to build a LiUNA training center, and Ford wasn't done.
A re-elected PC government will invest another billion, that's with a B.
That fund today worth $2.5 billion, but some grants issued by that fund were called into question by public sector union OPSU last week, saying amid massive layoffs, program cuts, and an ongoing strike, it's colleges, not private companies, that need that training money. In response, LiUNA's leader, Joseph Mancinelli, walked LiUNA out of the Ontario Federation of Labour in protest, saying LiUNA has a strong partnership with our colleges in Ontario, and it is a disservice to create a conflict between private sector training centres and colleges. This is nothing but bad politics attacking the Ford government.
Criticizing a program that they've received funding from, significant funding in the case of LiUNA, and LiUNA has had a long-term relationship with the Ford government and the Conservatives.
At issue were a pair of grants totaling $11 million to Scale Hospitality to train at-risk youth to work in their network of Toronto area restaurants, even though bureaucrats scored their application low. One of the restaurants, the Wheat Sheaf, hosted then Labour Minister Monty McNaughton for a news conference in 2022. Standing behind him, Scale Hospitality's Hanif Harji. After a week of questions from CTV News, the Ontario government finally provided some performance metrics for those Scale Hospitality grants. The company reported training 5,000 people, and of those, 3,500 got jobs. Colleges Minister Nolan Quinn happy to talk about other SDF grants.
There were 40 projects that were funded in our colleges, amounting to approximately $75 million.
The Auditor General is looking into the Skills Development Fund. As for LiUNA, government records show it's been funded to the tune of $23 million since 2018. John Woodward, CTV News.
Start your day in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. Top stories, the latest forecast, and must-see videos. You can sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Leveling up off the ice. Coming up, the Kitchener Rangers settling into some new digs at their home arena. Karis Mapp gives us a look at how a major renovation project turned out, just as another season is about to begin.
I'm Jeff Pickle. Paramedics getting back on the road sooner. Why local hospitals say they've had a major breakthrough when it comes to offloading patients from paramedics. That story is just ahead.
Sunny and above seasonal temperatures as we look ahead to the week. More on just how warm it could get in your full forecast coming up a little bit later.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
I'm Jason Peffer, Business Manager and Financial Secretary of UA Local 527, Southwestern Ontario. Joining Local 527 is a great career choice. There is opportunity in all trades right now. When licensed, a plumber, steam fitter, or pipe welder will be in the top 5% of the wage earners in the country. To become a licensed plumber, steam fitter, or welder involves an apprenticeship program. It's a 5-year apprenticeship program for a plumber and steam fitter and 3-year for a welder. And during that time, you will earn while you learn. You're getting paid, so you don't have to worry about your bills, and there's no student loan to repay at the end of your apprenticeship. There are no limits to employment with the UA. There are currently 370,000 members throughout the United States and Canada, with work opportunities in every state and every province if you should choose to do so. I would characterize job satisfaction in 2 ways. One with what you build at the end of the day with your hands, and the other all while earning an above average wage and creating a comfortable lifestyle for both you and your family. If you would like to join Local 527, go to ua527.com.
The Trades, brought to you by UA Local 527.
The organization that runs the 2 major hospitals in KW say they've cracked the code when it comes to ambulance offload times. They say some changes they've made are allowing paramedics to get back on the road around an hour faster than they could before. CTV's Jeff Pickle looking into this for us tonight. Jeff, first of all, let's remind people about this patient offload issue and why it's been such a problem. We've certainly been reporting on it in the past.
Well, Tony, essentially it's the transfer of care from paramedics to the hospital. The paramedics handing over the patient to the doctors and the nurses in the ER. And due to the strain on our hospitals, these offloads can take far longer than they should. But now the hospitals say they have made a major improvement. Now, according to REN, the offload time at the Midtown site, formerly Grand River Hospital, was 107 minutes and is now down to just 28 minutes. At the Queens Boulevard site, formerly St. Mary's, what was 83 minutes is now 27 minutes. And both hospitals have been able to maintain this success over the last 5 months. Now, the hospital organization says one of the keys is opening up space to get people out of the ER.
And so we really looked at strategies like decreasing the number of patients it requires to open additional beds on inpatient units to free up stretcher space. Again, those patients are sitting there and don't need to be in the emergency department any longer as they're waiting for inpatient care and are admitted. That in itself is a large strategy.
Now, according to the hospital, the province covers the funding for most of the initiatives to reduce offload times, but they say they are only able to sustain the funding if they are successful. And for the last 5 months, they have been very successful. Tony?
Okay, Jeff Pickle reporting live. Jeff, thank you for that. The Kitchener Rangers are getting ready to hit the ice on Friday night for their first regular season game. But before that, they're getting used to their new surroundings off the ice. A big construction project is just wrapping up at the Odd, and CTV's Karis Map shows us what it all looks like.
The wait is over as the Kitchener Rangers unveil a 5-month renovation project at the auditorium.
We really did a tremendous job here, in our opinion, in enhancing the player area, our staff area, our media area.
But the players will really benefit from the upgrades.
We moved our players' gym upstairs to our main dressing room, along with enlarging our players' lounge, along with increasing our athletic therapy areas.
It's unbelievable. A bit of a maze at first to try and get used to the new layout, but it's so nice. I love it.
The new space is expected to help with player recruitment and retention.
We're treating them as close as we can to National Hockey League players. And our culture and our environment are really important to us.
Everything's right there that they need. The gym is right there. All the equipment's there. The lounge is there. We have recovery. We have tubs. We have sauna. So there's really no excuse not to take care of your body and not to get better every day.
A new media lounge was also on the list of renos, making room for staff offices to be moved to the 3rd floor.
There's tradition and there's legacy and there's moments on the wall, so it's one of those things where you're almost manifesting, this is a winning environment.
Rangers officials say the renovations are even more exciting, with Kitchener being one of 2 teams in the running to host the 2027 Memorial Cup. The Rangers and Guelph Storm are facing off for the culminating tournament, but Ranger staff say the renovations make for a better environment.
It's got the feel of an old school arena that you don't get anymore with the modern rinks, but it's also been modernized enough where it's got those amenities that can keep up with other newer rinks as well.
It'd be an unbelievable experience, and to get to host it, stay in Kitchener, a home rink, this community, the fans, like it's just a dream even thinking about it.
Fans will get to enjoy the hard work of another project underway, turning the former Subscribers Lounge into a new restaurant. Kara Smapp, CTV News, Kitchener.
And here's a live look outside at downtown Kitchener on a beautiful Monday night. We are now officially in the last half of September, I guess, as of this evening. We're at the midway point of the month today, and summer weather really holding on for those final few days of summer. Alex Pinto's back in just a couple of moments to let us know how the forecast looks as we head toward the first day of fall. Also ahead, aging like a fine wine, that's the saying. And tonight we're heading to Brant County to visit a business with an interest in helping that process happen. That's coming up on tonight's Made Right Here. But next, Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre head-to-head in the House of Commons for the first time as Parliament resumes. We'll find out how that all went down coming up next. Well, we're back together again. I feel like it's been a little while. You were on location, and then I was, pardon the pun, under the weather for a little while.
'Tis the season, even though, fall's next week officially, but we're definitely getting into that cold and flu season once again as we do. But it is lovely to be back with you.
Well, and you know what? It's always such a strange juxtaposition to be feeling sick when the weather is so nice outside. So I was very grateful. I actually slept so much that I ended up getting up early yesterday morning. And to your point at 5, you have to wait till 7 to see the sun now. I was expecting a sunrise.
I know.
Had to wait, but was feeling well enough to have a nice, really active day outside yesterday, and saw so many other people outside too, just running, walking the dog, taking part, and just enjoying that weather.
Yeah, and yesterday would have been a beautiful day. So good news. Glad you're back. Glad you're feeling
thank you.
well,
Thank
too.
you. Yes.
And hopefully you had a chance to get out and enjoy the summer-like weather we are enjoying again for our final official week of summer. But we'll kind of see if these warmer conditions end up sticking with us as we get into your fall season. But first, we're taking a live look outside from downtown Kitchener tonight. Mainly clear, nice blue sky. I know we said this to Leanne a little bit before. Tony, tonight might be a nice night for a patio dinner. I wish we could, but it's okay, we're here.
I second the motion.
Beautiful conditions so out there tonight. And yes, good news if you do like that warm up, because it's going to be sticking with us as we look ahead to this week as well. Lots more sunshine in store. A note as well, though, I'm sure our gardens, we need a little bit of rain. So fingers crossed Mother Nature gives us some. And for our farmer friends, too, for those crops. So it's always a bit of a balance, right? We want to enjoy the nice summer-like weather, but of course we want to see a little bit of that rain make its way right across us as well. So looking at our futurecast, mainly clear, as we just saw from our live shot. Not too much activity to report as we get into your evening hours, into the overnight hours. If you're in Toronto or the GTHA, you might see a little bit more cloud cover start to develop as we get into your early Tuesday morning. But overall, things are looking pretty nice and clear. And again, that sun expected to be shining as we get into tomorrow as well. So right now we're sitting at 23 here in Kitchener-Waterloo. We were supposed to hit an expected high of 26. We have not hit that at this point. 25 is the hottest it's gotten today. But with that humidex, it did feel slightly warmer. No extreme heat or humidity, but we did feel it to be a little bit warmer today. 21 in Hamilton, 23 in the city of Toronto. So we're noticing the temperatures dipping a little bit. We were sitting in the mid-20s or so. Many areas across southern and southwestern Ontario, but still a comfortable evening if you want to spend it outdoors. So normal for this time, 20 degrees. So above seasonal we are for this time of year. Record high 35.6. That was back in 1939 on this day, and it was just 0 as on this day back in 1923. So quite a bit cooler compared to our expected overnight low of 11 degrees. That's what we're expected to get down to tonight. And yes, of course, so here's what we're seeing in terms of that sunrise, sunset, just over that 12-hour mark. So that sunrise now officially just past 7 o'clock in the morning. So you definitely are noticing darker start to the day if you're getting up before that time. And that sun is now setting 7:33 p.m. So overnight, just a few clouds expected. This is though when we could see a little bit of fog patches start to develop as we get into the overnight hours, in particular after midnight. That's when it should start to develop. And then tomorrow, that fog though should dissipate by the morning. If you have been on the roads over the last several days especially, you may have noticed, depending where you are, some thicker fog, which makes, of course, visibility on the roads a little bit more difficult. But 26, that is our expected high for tomorrow, with the humidex feeling more like 29, and that sun is going to be sticking with us for several days. Take a look at this, 26, 27 in terms of daytime high. Mix of sun and cloud expected as we get into your Friday. And then for Lambton, Kent, and Essex, similar conditions, sunny stretch in store for you as well, above seasonal. So 27 and 28 as well, feeling more like 30. So we are feeling that summer weather in southern Georgian Bay. If you're going to be by the water, not too bad for this week. High of 25 expected with sunshine in store. But take a look at that overnight low for Friday. We're going back to that single digit, 8 degrees. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture, a stunning shot of the Northern Lights and the Big Dipper. Deborah sending this, saying that her granddaughter actually took this shot in Oliphant. So this is in the south of Bruce Peninsula near Wyerton. Gorgeous green. If you look really close to Tony, you can see a little bit of purple.
Just a bit.
Just a bit shining through as well. So stunning, stunning shot. Thank you for sending this and being tonight's Weather Watcher. I'm jealous that you were able to capture that shot.
That is gorgeous. Two natural wonders in one shot.
I know.
Of course, up on the Bruce Peninsula, you've got so much open water all around you. You get that great western and northern exposure. And looks like Deborah was in just the right spot for that the other night.
Just the right spot. So if you see any more in the future, send it our way.
Send them our way. We'd love to see them. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Well, this is a big day in the nation's capital. Back to work for members of Parliament as the government rolls out its priorities. The House of Commons also saw the first ever question period showdown between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. CTV's Mike Le Couture is on the Hill with a look at the first day back.
The Liberals will need help from any opposition party if they want to make progress on things like bail reform and immigration changes. And let's not forget, they still have to pass a budget. The Prime Minister was preaching collaboration, while many were anticipating today's confrontation.
Mr. Speaker, why is it that all of this Prime Minister's promises of yesterday turn into today's disappointments?
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre attacked the Prime Minister's record. Mark Carney responded with a dig about Poilievre's absence from the House as he campaigned in a by-election.
He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians. He missed the cut on the GST for new homes. He missed eliminating all federal barriers to trade.
Despite all the jabs, all are calling for cross-partisan collaboration on issues like housing, bail and immigration reform, and the ongoing affordability crisis.
We're going to oppose the government where it makes sense. We are going to support things that make sense, and we are going to expose what they're not telling us.
We are a minority government, yes, but we believe that we have a mandate to proceed with major things.
It's why Liberal House Leader Steve McKinnon said his party is willing to negotiate on details, not principles.
There will be no negotiation, but we want to collaborate. What does that mean? Obey? Become Liberals? Might not happen.
It's by force of will that I ignore the fact that Mr. Carney seems to have one speed, which is fast, and one vehicle, which is a bulldozer.
Any collaboration will be tested soon, as the Liberals will need help to pass a budget this fall, one that the government says is projected to have a substantial deficit. Mike Le Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, provincial politics now. Ontario's Liberal Party will start the process of selecting a new leader in the near future. Bonnie Crombie announced on the weekend she's going to step down after a vote at the party's annual meeting. The question now is who will step forward to run for the leadership. Several names already being floated around, as we hear from CTV's Siobhan Morris.
Bonnie Crombie's exit as Ontario Liberal leader comes after less than 2 years on the job. Only 57% of delegates at the party's annual general meeting wanted her to stay. Crombie says she decided to go after speaking with her family, the party executive, and her caucus.
People were there in a supportive way to support their friend and their colleague.
and she asked them for their advice, and they all gave their advice individually. I'm not going to say what that advice was.
But Liberal MPPs reject any whisper of a revolt or an effort to push Crombie out. While more than half of the Liberals who voted wanted to stick with Crombie.
It was a tough election campaign. She did her best.
Liberals now say going forward with a new leader is what's best for the party.
If we really want to make the inroads with Ontarians and actually have a chance of forming government in the next election.
The Liberals are entering their third leadership contest since the Wynne government's defeat in 2018. There are some existential questions to consider.
Who they are and what they are, because what we just saw happen doesn't necessarily help the party and strengthen them to take on Doug Ford. They're basically starting all over again.
MP Karina Gould, who ran for leadership of the federal Liberals this spring, has been mentioned as a possible Ontario contender. So has her caucus colleague, Nate Erskine-Smith. He came in second to Bonnie Crombie in the leadership contest in 2023.
He's someone that I think has a special ability to, number one, communicate in this day and age to young people.
Erskine-Smith coy about the possibility of pursuing leadership again.
I got no idea what the future holds for me exactly.
Political analyst Scott Reed says for Liberals, it's less important to pick a new leader quickly than to pick well.
What the party really, really needs is someone who can light the lamp, someone who has the political talent to break through, to get noticed, to take the fight to Doug Ford.
Though there needs to be time to attract good quality candidates.
Because this party cannot afford to keep coming third, or it may not be around to compete elections down the road.
Well, the Albion lives on. Coming up, a major comeback story for a piece of Huron County history that was almost lost to the weight of a heavy winter. Beginning today, Canada Post workers are no longer delivering commercial flyers. The move comes after the Canadian Union of Postal Workers said it would end the ban on overtime work. CUPW says Canada Post is refusing to talk until the union significantly changes its latest offer. Early last month, union members voted down what Canada Post said was its final offer, and the union responded with its own proposal. The Postal Service said that offer was a step backward. A nearly 200-year-old hotel in Huron County will reopen later this month, less than a year after its roof collapsed under the weight of heavy winter snow. CTV's Scott Miller has this update on the restoration of the Albion Hotel.
Jeff and Lee Graham are just days away from reopening the historic Albion Hotel after the roof collapsed due to an ice buildup last December.
Yeah, we've come a real long way. We've had a lot of people pull up and help us out, and she's a pretty much new building at this point.
The more than 180-year-old roof at Bayfield's Albion Hotel came crashing in on itself during an ice and rainstorm on December 8th. 2024.
I guess starting on that day, everybody was in shock. I think the whole town was in shock.
By the end of December, a temporary roof was installed to try and keep the water out, and by March, the arduous task of rebuilding a 180-year-old hotel that suffered extensive interior water damage following the roof collapse had begun. A spring and summer of constant construction has led to a grand reopening and street party out front of the beloved Albion planned for Saturday, September 27th.
We're pretty proud of how it looks inside, and we're really proud of how the community came together and all the local contractors came and helped us out, and we put it back together.
Graham says they've done their best to maintain the historic charm of the building that was constructed in the 1840s while shoring up a roof and structure that literally buckled under the weight of ice and rain just 9 months ago.
We went to engineered trusses from rafters that were built in the 1840s, so we're all up to modern technology for the roof. We put on a steel shake roof to kind of match what the cedar shake looked like. We got all new insulation, new wiring, so we've really put the time and care into this place to get it to last another 180 years.
In Bayfield, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Okay, recapping the top stories we're following tonight. Leanne Evans in studio with all the details. And Leanne, a man was found dead in a home in Kitchener. Police now treating this as a homicide.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. This all unfolded in downtown Kitchener. A woman is now under arrest. Police found a man dead inside an apartment on Cameron Street North near Weaver Street East around 9:30 this morning. His cause of death has not been released, but police say his injuries were significant. No word yet on charges. Waterloo Regional Police say this is the first homicide of the year. Police are investigating a suspicious death in North Dumfries. The victim has been identified as 36-year-old Elizabeth Spurgeon of Cambridge. Her body was discovered early Friday morning in the West River Road and Waterloo Road area. Anyone with information on her whereabouts leading up to Friday is asked to contact Waterloo Regional Police.
And Leanne, looking at what our digital team is working on the website, I love this story. Some staff at a local bar in Cambridge, let's say a little bit starstruck when an unexpected visitor showed up.
Yeah, that's the word for it, Tony. I mean, what would you feel like if Justin Bieber walked into the restaurant that you were working at? Pretty cool stuff. Justin Bieber showing up at Chicago Pub in Cambridge. Staff said they had no idea he was coming by, but they were happy to host him for an evening out. They say he played pool with a friend, he did karaoke and posed for photos with fans. You can look at those photos and read more about this on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. And Tony, I think I saw a video on social media too. He was doing karaoke to his own songs.
Well, first of all, why not?
Why not?
Right, why not? But I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but the same thing happened at my brother's restaurant.
Oh, yeah?
In Ottawa. Bieber and company just walked in one day.
Wow.
And Andrew said it was a pretty unforgettable moment.
So he knows exactly how that
He knows how the staff at Chicago Pub and Billiards are feeling for sure, yeah. What a moment. All right, thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
A transformation that's built to age. We are heading to Brant County tonight to see how Canadian Oak honors the tradition of maturing fine wines on this week's edition of Made Right Here.
My name's Jim Hedges, and I'm talking to you today from my operation in St. George, Ontario, called Canadian Oak, where we manufacture barrels that are used in the whiskey and wine industries, not only throughout Ontario and Canada, but also through other countries in the world. The barrels we make are made from white oak, which is an abundant species in North America, but there's not a lot of it in Canada. And from that point, we bring the logs here, we have a sawmill, we do special cutting of the wood, and then once the wood's cut, it has to age outside for 3 years before we actually make it into barrels. We ship it down to Missouri and Arkansas in the U.S., where they have the specialized equipment to really make some barrels at a production rate. First of all, for the whiskey barrels, they have a process where the wood is actually charred. It's set on fire inside. And so this charring that happens is very exciting to watch because you have a barrel that's flaming out of both ends. A wine barrel, on the other hand, is set up with all the various sides, which are called staves, and then it's toasted. So it's in a similar process. It's treated with heat, and that aroma translates into a lovely taste that helps age the wine that's in these barrels. When we come back, we put all the barrels onto a big van, 53-foot trailer, and the barrels are unloaded and stored in our warehouse here. And then I market them to around the world. You know, there's nothing quite like the feeling of having a satisfied customer, and the people who buy our barrels just love them. 40 Creek were the first ones to use them for distilling in Ontario, and I think the first whiskey that was put into our barrels was voted the best whiskey in Canada for 3 years in a row. Things like that are very satisfying for us. We know we're on the right track with a great product.
Mini bikes and major wins. Coming up, we're going to meet a young biker from Elmira who's already taking a two-wheeled passion onto the world stage. Well, a young mini motorcycle rider is gearing up to grow the sport. He hopped onto a bike for the first time this spring and is already competing in international contests. CTV's Spencer Turcotte reports.
14-year-old Stefan Tanasic hopped on a mini motorcycle for the first time in April. He's gone from 0 to 100 real quick.
I've always been a speed demon, so I've always liked going fast.
In just a few months, he's already competed in international competitions.
I was in China in July, I want to say. It was a phenomenal experience.
He credits everything he's learned to Tony Sharpless, who operates Supersonic Road Race School.
Feel those two tall ones. He ended up finishing 4th overall in the FIM Mini GP Canada National Championship this year. So he did remarkably well for a kid that we just taught how to ride in the spring.
Aside from winning, Sharpless and Tanasic have a shared goal of growing the sport.
Well, if you're comparing it to hockey, lacrosse, baseball, it's non-existent. The main obstacle is that Canada doesn't recognize motorcycle racing as a sport, and that's federally and provincially.
Tanasic is looking at getting his friends involved.
I'm thinking of handing out some flyers to give to them, and maybe they can come join the school and we can get some more kids in the sport.
Look no further than his 9-year-old sister Natalia for proof that anyone 5 years old and up can join.
I just want to have a need for speed.
As for her brother, it's pedal to the metal because he wants to take it all the way.
My main goal, like my life goal, is to make this a career and make it into MotoGP.
Considering his parents have taken him to all of Supersonic Road Race School's classes, which account for nearly 40 days this year, it seems like he's laying the groundwork to accomplish that. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Flamborough.
Let's find out what's coming up tonight on CTV National News.
Tonight, going head-to-head in the House.
Why is it that all of this Prime Minister's promises of yesterday turn into today's disappointments?
He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians.
What has party leaders on the offensive as Parliament resumes later on CTV National News.
Above seasonal to kick off the work and school week, we'll take a look at how your morning is looking in Wake Up Weather coming up after the break.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to join Leanne one more time for a look at another story our team is watching this evening. Leanne?
Tony, doctors are reminding Canadians to take precautions with COVID cases rising, something they say is consistent with the end of summer. We'll have more on the rising numbers and the unofficial start of respiratory virus season tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Oh, Leanne, thank you very much for that. Can relate. Yeah, I wondered if I had COVID. Actually, I did.
Like the timing.
Ultimately
though.
didn't, but yeah, it's just there's a lot going around right now, and it certainly is worth reminding yourself to listen to your body in these situations.
Especially with back to school, back to work too. Summer vacation's over. It's just gonna happen.
But you know that natural medicine, sunshine. Ooh, we've had a lot of that lately.
We have, and we are lucky. More sun expected as we look to tomorrow. So taking a look at your wake up weather to start off the day. Mainly clear sky, 9 degrees by 10 a.m. We should be hitting around 18 degrees or so, mainly sunny sky. And again, that sunshine expected to stick with us for several days. So soak it up all you can.
I was telling you, I actually was sitting outside in the sun on Saturday night for a good hour or two, and I think it made a huge difference in my recovery. Oh my gosh. It was just gorgeous. Well, here's a nice story to leave you with tonight. An Elmira man is piecing together a part of history. Brad Roth, who grew up in Woolwich, has turned the iconic Kissing Bridge into a 1,000-piece puzzle.
As CTV's Alexander Hollick explains, he's putting the puzzle proceeds towards rebuilding the local landmark.
Usually they're not that high, but you could see the bridge better if those weeds were knocked down.
It's no puzzle that Brad Roth has a special connection to the West Montrose covered bridge.
We hung around down at the bridge here quite a bit and did some fishing and, you know, catching crayfish, frogs, and blah, 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 you know, what typical 7-8-year-old kids do.
His family's bridgeside pastimes frozen in time.
this postcard that was made back in 1970, I believe, and it was a picture of my brother and I fishing under the bridge, or beside the bridge.
But as time went on, the 144-year-old bridge started to show its age.
I noticed it was starting to look a little dilapidated, and boards coming off and lights burnt out, and, you know, cobwebs, spider webs everywhere.
Roth says he wanted to remember the past, so he created his own little pieces of history, while also preserving the future.
I thought, well, make it into a puzzle, and then I came up with the bright idea of ordering 1,000 puzzles and giving the proceeds to the bridge keepers to help maybe maintain the bridge and clean it up.
That was back in 2023. Since then, Waterloo Region announced a $12 million bridge renovation project that kicked off late last month.
The money that I'm going to make for him is nowhere near going to pay much of the bill that's going to be occurred with this project, but what I thought whatever I can make will help.
So far, Roth's raised more than $2,000 for the Bridge Keepers, a neighborhood group dedicated to preserving the bridge and the community that surrounds it.
It's one of a kind. It means a lot to a lot of people, I think. People have told me stories about how, yeah, they took their first date through the bridge in their car and, you know, snuck a kiss because it's called the Kissing Bridge.
The Kissing Bridge is expected to be closed to the public until the end of next year. So while couples wait to sneak a smooch here, perhaps they'll cozy up with the puzzle instead. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, West Montrose.
Why not? I love that.
Yeah. And that bridge, too. We actually took some engagement pictures there.
Yes, you did.
Yes, it's an iconic spot. And yeah, so we'll kind of have to check back in and see how many puzzles end up selling.
You'll have to get one and do it on a rainy day because it's connected to personal memories. That's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here once again tonight at 11:30. Have a good evening.
Take care.